All right, I'm not gonna let Instagram play me again by making me think I'm not live right now, and I am. So, what up? I thought that we're telling your followers that you're live meant people know, or that you're not. Whatever. Hi everyone. My name is Alex Spicer. I'm the editor of CentralTrack.com. I am being joined by DJ Blake Ward. Just to catch up, he's been doing a lot of pretty cool things, so I want to talk more about it. And I think he's already here, actually. Punctual. It says you're not able to join, Blake. Hold on. Request it again, Blake. I tried to add you, but it said you can't. This happened last night, too, but it worked out. Hopefully, it'll work out tonight. Otherwise, how are the rest of you doing? All 9 of you. If you just joined and you missed it, my name is Alex Spicer. I'm the editor of Central Track, and I will be hopefully joined by DJ Blake Ward. Help. Did you request it, Blake? Okay, I got the request. Let's see if this works. Fingers crossed.
Oh my God.
I hear it. Oh my God.
Look who I brought with me.
I was hoping you would. What is that
She's
one?
so upset. She's so loud. What?
Do you have names for them yet?
Yeah, this one is Kiki, like Kiki's delivery service. Chelsea, come get this damn chicken. And bring me a different one that's not so loud.
Cute. How old are they?
Like 2.5 weeks old.
Oh, wow.
She's super upset about this Grace Jones picture behind me and maybe the disco ball. Oh, where the hell is she?
Have you had chickens before?
Hell no. Okay, we're switching out.
Okay.
Oh, that's another chicken.
This is
Oh
already
my God.
one of these Instagram lives I've done.
Listen, Alec, we're in the quarantines, and you know what you got to do? You got to be resourceful. I'm going to eat every single one of these birds. I'm totally kidding. I would never eat you as long as you behave.
This one is mellow.
This one's mellow. That one was mellow, too. There's a cat and a dog staring up at her right now, which probably had her a little concerned because, like, I would also be concerned. This cat Summer is just staring at her like, huh, what's that? Because they're not in the same room. They don't get to be in the same room, so they're just very curious.
Do you keep them indoors?
So they have to be indoors for the first 2 months, and then they go outside. So we have like a massive dog pen just like filled with wood that's just leaking out all over our bedroom floor full of chickens. It's great.
That sounds like a great time.
It's great.
I bet.
I have nothing better to do, though, so.
Where did this even come from? Where did you get chickens? Why did you decide to, I don't.
Chelsea really wanted chickens, and you can buy them on the internet, and they'll mail them to you.
They came in the mail?
Yeah, they mailed us a bunch of chickens.
You're lying.
That's how you do it.
Really? You're lying.
Yeah. When they're like a day old, they mail you a chickens, and they come in a box with holes in it, and like a little nest with a heat pad. And they eat like their egg yolk for the first 3 days, so they don't have to eat or drink for like 3 days.
That's insane.
I know, it's totally crazy. I was really worried about it when I ordered them. And like the post office, I was afraid they were gonna like lose our package, and it's live animals.
Yeah.
But it's like a super common thing. So, hi, I'm Jack Candy, and this is my chicken.
What is this one's name?
Okay, there's two that look exactly like. I think this is Artemis.
What
Yeah,
are they?
this is Artemis.
Is there a theme?
No, not really.
Oh.
We just named them all names we liked.
I saw someone said that you should name them after the Seven Dwarves.
Yeah,
I like
that's. I'm not naming a chicken Dopey. Damn.
that. I think that would have been a great name.
Maybe. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, aside from being a new father to baby chicks, how are you holding together?
I feel like I'm actually doing really well. This has been a nice break, which I know for most people it hasn't been that way, but I've just sort of accepted that I can't really go DJ right now, and there's not anything I can do to stop that. And in the meantime, I should just do as many things as I can that I enjoy and kind of enrich my life. And it's like I never thought I'd ever have another summer break ever again. So it's kind of like having another summer break for the first time.
It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, and I mean I'm getting unemployment, so that's great.
Oh, that is good. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I've been really really touched by the amount of people that have tipped me when I've been DJing. It's like even somebody tips $1, it's just like, oh my god, this person is paying attention. And you don't need to tip me to come watch my show or anything, of course, but it's been very touching to see that people care and are doing that, and especially when it's somebody who isn't making that much money themselves right now. So
yeah, I was curious to know if you were seeing really a lot of, not that I guess the dollar amount matters, but if you were seeing significant support through donations of your streams.
Yeah, I mean, I've made upwards of like $700 in one stream sometimes, which is more than I make when I DJ. That hasn't how it's been lately. That was really like the first one or two that I did. Mm-hmm. But that was very brought a tear to my eye. It was like these people are watching me and care and want to be a part of something that I do. And at first I was feeling very unsure of myself. Like, what am I going to do? How long is this going to last? And once that kind of went off successfully, I felt a lot better about things. And I know that, we're not going to get back to work immediately, and we shouldn't get back to work. I've had places calling me.
I wanted to ask you. We'll get to that.
Yeah, and it's just not going to happen for me because I think that the safety, my own personal safety, my mom that's 70 years old that lives down the street, and the people who come to my shows are more important to me than making money. So, I mean, I hate it. I hate not being able to work, but this is where we're at. So,
yeah, and it's you. I mean, you do more than DJ. You're a promoter. You throw events. It's so all of your avenues of pay are kind of put on pause, right?
Right. So my three biggest revenue sources are Neiman Marcus that just filed for bankruptcy. I DJ there a lot. DJing in clubs, which you can't do,
right.
And throwing these Disco Texas shows that I throw, which obviously I'm not going to just risk it and throw a show right now. I think that would be super selfish. Like that fucking asshole in Fort Worth.
I was curious to know what you thought about that. Did you get hit up for that?
Hell no. I mean, that guy just seems like a terrible person. Just all around. like a parody of a terrible person in a movie about bottle service or some shit.
Yeah, I get that vibe too. I was kind of mad too because you sent me something about that, and you were the first person that I had heard anything about it from, and then all of a sudden I clicked over on Twitter and Facebook and everything, and everybody was talking about it. So I was we're working on something about that at Central Track though. I think Pete's got something coming tomorrow, maybe.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was shameful and offensive.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. I was like, okay, if this guy's gonna have the balls to do something like that, his explanation is gonna be something better than I was bored. but that's what he's
I mean,
sticking with.
that's such a 2020 explanation, though. Like, yeah, I was just bored.
That's
Like,
true.
Instagram.
Yeah. No, I read something today. I don't remember where it was from, but it was a column. I think it might have been Washington Post that was like basically saying that when it gets tough, Americans just decide, whatever, I'll risk. And by tough, you know, having to wear masks and stay home is they're
Right.
tough. But people definitely have, I think, abandoned the some people concern and are just
Well, I think that for the most part, people are empathetic and most people are doing the right thing.
yeah.
But the people who are not doing the right thing are the people who are either super uneducated, like that buffoon in Fort Worth, who just seems like he probably didn't get spanked enough or something, and like gets all of his personal validation from people on the internet and throwing parties, which that's pretty sad.
Yeah.
Or people who have general concerns about their businesses or losing money, from their bar or their restaurant or their retail space. Like I get that. Like that's a little more. Like I get where you're coming from, wanting to open back up because you're losing horrible amounts of money right now, and
Yeah.
you don't know what to do, and you care about your employees, and you've worked so hard for. So that I understand. And then you've got the people who just are like don't believe it. They're like so into the whole Trump thing that they just like it's become like a political issue for them, which is the worst, I think, because like someone's health and safety should never be a political issue.
Yeah, that's been the weirdest thing. I don't remember who I was talking to about that on here the other night. It might have been Colin Allred, actually. It's weird to me that the idea of like wanting people not to die has been made political.
Right.
It's hard for me to wrap my head around how someone could get to that, but it's not surprising, I guess. And not only that, but I mean, even if that guy was like concerned about like how he was gonna, put food on the table or whatever, I mean, you are proof that there are ways to still do it. So,
collect unemployment for one. Apply for unemployment. That's a good place to start.
That's not what you're doing. You're downplaying your work ethic.
Right, but you know what I'm saying. Like
No.
there are avenues, even if you don't want to work right now.
Sure. Yeah. So you mentioned people though have tried to book you for stuff. What's that conversation been like? Have they even been like, hey, we know this is kind of awkward, or are they just like, hey, want to come back? Like,
Well, I mean, it's been some restaurants that are like, hey, we're doing some patio stuff. Do you want to come DJ on our patio? And I'm like, no, not really, because it's when I do come back, I don't want that to be my first thing. Like I've been DJing on our patio for 3 months, guys, and I'm not going to make that much money doing it. And I think the PR backlash on that would be bad. And I personally don't think it's a good idea. I think I'd be stressed out and worried I was going to get sick. I DJ'd somewhere, the night before they closed everything, and that made me feel uneasy enough. I had people coming up and like trying to hug me that I didn't know and fist bump me and give me like the, handshake thing. And I was just like, whoa, like, don't touch me. Like, get away from me. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Did you not watch the news? Like, do you not know what's going on? And now I don't really have a lot of faith in people to wash their hands when they use the bathroom, even, let alone like when there's a coronavirus going on. So
yeah, I don't remember who I was telling when this all first started. I mean, I can only speak from like a guy's perspective, but I've noticed this my whole life. Men already don't wash their hands very often, at least from what I've observed. So
right.
When that happened, I was like, oh my gosh, we're so fucked.
Right. Yeah.
It's over. So I thought that too. It's and I've always been kind of weird. Like I carry hand sanitizer long before this in my backpack, and I've always been like a weird germ person, but I don't know.
That's something you and Donald Trump have in common.
Yeah, all right. I know. I thought about that the other day, actually. He can't be that big of a germaphobe. He's not following his own guidelines. Like,
Well, he's probably a germaphobe and an idiot. So,
one has to supersede the other, I guess, sometimes.
right.
So, but you have, even though you haven't done gigs at like restaurants or bars or anything, or, you know, whatever's open, or in warehouses, as the case may be,
Right.
I've done a few separate events. So you did the drive-in with Disco Texas.
Yes, which was so much fun.
It looked fun.
Ishii totally stole the show. Chelsea, you want to come get this chicken from me? Yeah, so Ishii really stole the show. His performance was great, and we were lucky that he already had like really good visuals and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that translated well to the screen. The movie we showed was probably the least interesting part because, you know, once we'd had all this live stuff and we got to the movie, people were like, all right, I'm kind of done with this.
Yeah.
It's not like we can show a brand new blockbuster movie or anything.
Right.
So I think Ishii just really commanded everyone's attention. He can do a solo performance, and it was just fantastic. And I think it was what everyone needed at the time. And I had so much fun just watching him. So,
how long did that take to put together everything?
How long did it take? So Reed has been doing those every single week. So a lot of the pieces were sort of in place already. Mm-hmm. And then I hired Clint Rohr from Code Blue to do like the screen and everything. So he did that part. I showed up with basically the same setup I'm using right now to live stream when I do my Friday night live streams. So I had some lights and my DJ setup and my little video mixer and stuff and just plugged in. And I used a lot of the same people that I already used for a lot of my Disco Texas parties because part of it was just supporting them as well, like getting my people that I work with gigs and stuff. So we all kind of knew what to expect, and it was sort of like, yeah, Brandy, you're going to go over there. John, this is what you're doing. I know what you need. Cool, we're good to go. And then Frida Monet, you know, mm-hmm. Frida Monet is easy because she lip syncs, so she sent me her track, and that was it. So, I mean, it was fairly, from my end of things, very easy. I think Clint setting up all the video screens and stuff was there for hours and hours, but it's not my first rodeo throwing a party, and it's not really that much different. I really encourage anyone who wants to do something like that, whether you have a screen or you just set up a stage and have people pull into a parking lot, like go for it. It's not that hard to do. It's not any harder than throwing a real show, regular show, and partner with a restaurant or a bar that's maintaining social distancing and have them bring drinks to people's cars, serve food. Just make sure you do it in a neighborhood where they're not going to call the cops, and you'll be good to go. And like, the worst thing you can do is fail, but people's expectations right now are so low that no one's going to really be like, I want my money back. This wasn't the professional performance. They're going to be like, oh man, I got out of my house and I got a cheeseburger and I got to sit in my car and see other signs of human life. And it's also great because the people who come are usually like-minded people. If you're coming to a drive-in theater, you probably haven't been going out on patios and hanging out. And so it's a lot of people who are very conscientious of how they handle themselves, and everyone masked up if they had to go use the bathroom. No real issues there. It was a lot of fun.
It looked fun, and didn't sell out?
It did, but we only had to sell 60 tickets or 55 tickets, so it wasn't like
that's
difficult.
I mean, it's hard to sell something like an entirely different concept. I mean, same concept, but much.
Alec, there's nothing else going on right now. It was so easy. It was the easiest thing I've ever sold out in my life because it's like no competition. There's nothing else going on. Like, where else are you going to go on a Friday night 2 weeks ago? So
that's true. That's
true.
I
mean, that's another reason I encourage people to do this sort of thing, because it's like there's no competition right now. It's great. So you can be a little more experimental and interesting with it, and you're going to get a return on your investment.
Yeah. You're right. Times are definitely weird. I guess even if it does bomb, you know, nobody will remember it.
Right. Or they'll be like, whatever.
Yeah.
It was the quarantines.
Yeah, that's true. Well, then how do you decide or have you thought about this at all yet? When say like Beauty Bar opens back up when they decide, whenever that is, um, how do you personally decide when you're ready?
So there's a couple things that I was thinking about as metrics. When hospitals start allowing visitors again, seems like a good one, because if hospitals are allowing visitors, it's pretty much safe to go anywhere, right? So that would be kind of like my ultimate metric besides a vaccine. Um, if the cases in Dallas are like 0 to none or going down significantly, I think I would go back. But it's tough because I keep waffling back and forth on it. If there's any chance I'm going to get it, I don't really want to go DJ in a bar, and I don't think anyone should, because it's a luxury, you know? It's not a necessity to go out to a bar. So, I don't really see the point of risking anyone for what? A party? We can do that next year. So,
Yeah.
and unless things get to the point where this is just the new normal, and I haven't accepted that that's a possibility yet, it's going to be a while for me personally. And if other people want to go out and DJ, I'm not going to dog them unless they throw a 500-person warehouse party like a fucking asshole. But it is what it is, like people have different standards for what they're willing to do, and I respect that.
So let's say like then if do you worry though that maybe Beauty Bar might be or wherever? That's what I associate you most with, because that's where I've seen you. Do you worry that somewhere like that is going to be ready and you're not, and it's potentially going to change what that means long term?
I think that I'm really lucky that the places I DJ, like Double Wide and Beauty Bar and Ruins, have all been very conscientious of what they're doing, and they haven't opened up again, which I think is great on all the fronts, and they're losing money to not open. So I know that's a tough thing for them to decide, but I really applaud them for that. And I think when they decide to come back, I'll probably be ready to come back too, just from the conversations I've had with all the owners. And they all seem to be pretty responsible and to be making pretty informed decisions.
Okay. Speaking of Double Wide, you want to talk to you about Corin TV, because
Yeah.
Such a cool idea. I'll let you explain it in your own words.
Okay, sure. So Joel from Double Wide came to me and basically wanted me to live stream from Double Wide. And I thought, I hadn't done any live streams yet. I didn't think that it would be a successful idea because I thought that Facebook would take it down immediately, which they do most of the time. And I thought that we would be better served doing stuff with live bands. This was before they had come up with stimulus money, or we knew that anyone that had a W-9 could get unemployment. So I thought, gosh, all of my friends are in a really tough spot right now. So we were going to have a lot of bands and bartenders that just had no money, like none. That was my big fear at that point when we started it. So we just started booking people, like paying them $300 to $500, to some cases $200 to shoot a live performance, and we would film it and then put it online. So that way they could be in front of their audience. Their audience wouldn't forget them. They could make a little bit of money, and they could make it doing what they want to do. So that was kind of simple concept. We weren't trying to reinvent the wheel. We just wanted to kind of give people the opportunity to play music. And we've shot 2 episodes. It's pretty expensive to shoot because we're using like Red cameras, and our video editor, it takes him over a week to edit every single episode. So it is a time consuming, hard thing to shoot. So we've only done 2 episodes, but we've shot a lot of really, really cool content and helped a lot of people. And I think it's been really entertaining for viewers at home. And also, like, it's just giving me something to do and giving everyone involved an opportunity to kind of like learn some new skills.
Yeah, that Joshua Ray Walker performance you guys did, that was beautiful.
That was absolutely the pinnacle of the entire show.
Yeah.
And that might be the last segment that we ever shoot if we don't raise any more money, which is fine. If that's where it ends, that's a good spot.
You were doing really well though in the beginning with fundraising. Has it kind of stalled out a little bit?
So we raised all the money for the first 2 episodes before we shot the first episode. And then it costs around $2,500 to shoot an episode once we pay out everybody involved. And so it is like hard to get $2,500, you know? I think I'm still waiting for the Kickstarter to come in, because one of the problems we had was I set the Kickstarter for May 14th, not realizing that I wouldn't get any of that money until May 14th.
I was wondering why I got an email on May 14th. I was like, this is so old. I would have
figured. Well, you don't get any of the money unless you hit your goal, right?
I see. So
I didn't know that we would hit our goal, and I wanted to give us a long time to do it. And I didn't want to lose any of those donations. But now I'm like still waiting. It like takes another 2 weeks after that to get the money. So we'll probably start shooting the next episode when that Kickstarter comes in, just based on like accounting and see what happens there. So I really want to shoot a 3rd episode, and I kind of have the idea for how I want to shoot it. I want to do it on a green screen. So it's like all self-contained, and I want it to be like in space with a bunch of electronic acts. Yeah, and I think that would be kind of like fun, because every one that we've done, I want it to be like very different from the previous one.
I was going to ask how you decide on the acts, and then also where you do it.
So the first one was all at Double Wide, and I just tried to make it as diverse as possible. Like we had a rapper, we had Larry G, and we had Rose Garden Funeral Party, which are like 3 very different bands.
Yeah.
And then we had like our cocktail segment and the Hula Hooper and the Magician. So it was just a wide variety, because I want to help as many people in as many different verticals as possible. The second one was just all singer-songwriters, because we shot it on a farm and it just felt right. So I tried to make it like a very diverse group of singer-songwriters. And I mean, I think that's kind of how I want to do it going forward. So the next one will be like all electronic musicians. Then the next one after that, I think will probably be all rap. And we'll just kind of cycle through from there. But we have to get to episode 3 before I even start thinking about episode 4.
Yeah.
So.
But do you feel pretty good about episode 3 happening, right? For sure.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's like a 70 to 80% chance it'll happen. I would love for us to get some sort of sponsor. When this first all started happening, we were talking to sponsors, and they were like, yeah, we'll give you $15,000. And I was like, cool, that's like a whole season. And then things started getting worse for everybody, and they stopped returning my emails. So, which is fine. I get it. It's not a time to be putting money out into the world if you can't afford to do it. So.
No, we went through that too at Central Track with advertisers. Things were looking pretty good for advertising, and then suddenly nobody had anything to say. So, but you're right. I get it. It's everybody's got to kind of make sure everything's in check.
They'll be back.
Yeah. No, I'm surprisingly, for as much of a pessimistic person as I typically am, I'm pretty optimistic about all of this.
I am too. I think, it's everyone keeps talking about how like the new normal, and I don't really think that the new normal is going to be worse than before. I think it's going to be better than before. I think that a lot of people are going to stop doing some of the things that they've been doing. Like I think one of the metrics I look at throughout my life is fashion. Fashion has just got to the point where it is not even like cyclical based on like the seasons. It's like just so fast and so furious and so expensive, and it's just not really very substantive anymore, I don't think.
Yeah.
And I know I sound totally old when I say that, but I think that hopefully we go back to a place where like friends are more substantive, fashion is more about like quality and creativity than trends. Music is more same thing, like less about following what everyone else is doing and hitting a formula, and more about like being true to yourself. And I think that people realize now, like, we've only got one life here, and got to make it count. And I hope that people take the lessons they learned through all this to heart, and all the self-reflection, and they make something really cool out of it. So.
Yeah, I thought about that with when this all first started. When we were like a few weeks in, I was like, this sucks. Like, I'm losing. We all are. We're losing like time, in life. And not to get all like fake deep, but it just feels like, it's definitely put things into perspective that, life is very short, and things like this can happen, and
Right.
it's not in our control. So you might as well, like you said, be true to yourself, and follow your.
And think of all the possibilities for your life now that you didn't have before because you were too busy.
Sure.
There's all sorts of things that you can do, and I think that's true for everyone. And I know not everyone has a bunch of free time right now. I know a lot of people are working in hospitals or grocery stores, or they're working online from home. But I do think that like the change of pace for the rest of us will be really good.
If nothing else, I think this will hopefully, fingers crossed, make people wash their hands more.
That's asking too much.
I think we probably draw the line there. Yeah. So talk to you about your own streaming that you've just been doing on what is it's Friday nights, right?
So I've been doing Friday nights. I will probably stream tomorrow night, but the real focus this week is Saturday night. I'm doing Disco Texas Festival sort of set, because I started DJing in Norman, Oklahoma, and spent a lot of time in Houston and Austin and Tulsa. So I have this kind of like DJ community family that spans 5 cities, and they've never really DJ'd together. They don't know each other for the most part. And I think it's going to be really exciting to have all these DJs that are really, really good from this little corner of Texas and Oklahoma playing all together. And it's hopefully it'll be the first of a few of these that we do, and it'll turn into something cool.
How are you doing that? How's it?
It's all on Twitch. So you just tune in to twitch.tv/disco_tx. And I'll probably put the link up on discotx.com too, so it's easier to find. But yeah, you just tune in, and I'll be doing all the hard work on the back end for everybody, so they don't have to switch the channel or anything.
Yeah, that's one thing too that I've noticed with everything that you've done. So you probably had a little bit of experience, with doing Disco Texas stuff, but it's all like high quality. Like it's angles, and I'm trying to think of that meme. It's like, this is not some.
Here, I'm going to give you a little tour of my studio.
Yeah, I want to see it.
We've got the GoPro, the first GoPro. I don't know if you can see it. Where is that? Yeah. So here's the first GoPro and some lights, and then you come over here. You look down. I've got my video switcher, the other GoPro, and some more lights. And there's a black light up there. This disco ball is hanging off this bar. So I got lucky because I had a mom that was very supportive of me doing a lot of different things and learning different things. And one of the things that I did when I was in middle school was I filmed weddings at a church. So I kind of learned the basics of doing all this video stuff. And then I just had back when I did it, digital cameras were not a thing. So I had to bring myself up to speed on some of that and buy some gear. But I almost paid it off in tips. So
nice.
It's great. Yeah.
Huh. Well then, so how do you, when you're doing the drive-in stuff, all of the behind the scenes stuff, is that all you?
No. So that's for most of the behind the scenes stuff. I was doing the video switching and that part, and the DJing and the promotion, along with Reed, who does it every week. But the screen and all that was Clint Rohr from Code Blue. and we have a good working relationship. We do a lot of like weddings, and he's done some of the Disco Texas back end, and he does a lot of the back end for like House of Plates and some of those people too. And he's just a video AV general guy with a lot of equipment and kind of a jack of all trades and very reliable. So I like working with him. But there's a lot of different guys like that in the city that I'll tap to do stuff that, you know, have different purposes and specialties, and you can't do everything yourself. And I certainly don't own a extremely expensive projector and screen or know how to do any of that stuff. So that was way out of my pay grade.
Okay. I wanted to talk to you about so today, and I still don't even know. I'm not sure that anybody knows everything, but came out today that, at least on social media, that the Virgin Hotel, which
Right.
hasn't even been open that long. I think it opened in
Right.
December. Fired its entertainment director. Allegedly, and I have to say that for everybody watching, people always get mad at journalists for using that word.
Right.
I don't want to get sued, so I
Right.
have to use that word. Allegedly firing the entertainment director because she wouldn't fire DJs who they claimed attracted a certain crowd.
Right.
By that, they meant people of color, Black people, you know. So what is your take on that? And is that something that you've observed as a DJ regularly?
I would say my take on it is it's not shocking at all. Not because of the person that is accused of doing it, or in general, like anybody specific in this current situation, but just because it is such a pervasive issue in Dallas in general that we have all fought, and it's been extremely frustrating. And, you know, I was having a conversation with one of those DJs involved today, and one of the things he said, or I said, was like, man, I don't know a place in Dallas that isn't a little bit racist. And it's just really frustrating because, like, you know, you want to go play places that are accepting, and, like, I try to make my parties for everyone. I want to play the music I want to play, but anyone can come, and it's like, as long as you're not groping girls or doing really harmful activities, you can come to my parties. That's sort of just my way of doing things. Like, I want people to have accessible luxury or accessible creative experience. And so in doing those, I've run into this exact same problem a lot. And it's not one specific area of town. It's not like an uptown thing or a Deep Ellum thing or a hotel thing. It is a Dallas problem. And I'm sure it's a problem in other cities too. But you can't really single out and say, like, oh, it's those uptown assholes, because, you know, I ran into that issue at a Deep Ellum bar that I played at for a long time. Oops, I think I lost you for a second. But so I had built this great party at a bar in Deep Ellum, and you know, the owners wanted me to switch from rap to disco after I did a disco New Year's there. And they were like, hey, man, you know, like, it was just Deep Ellum. It's, like, really sensitive here. Like, you really got to be careful about who you let in. And, like, it was tough for me because the bartender was Black, and he would say things like, my cousins don't tip. And I would just be like, I don't want to argue with a person of color telling me something that I find offensive. And also, like, what do you do in that situation? Do you call him out as, like, a white man trying to call out a person of color about their opinions about people of color? And it's things like that make being a DJ in Dallas difficult, because, you know, you can form a party, make a party that's really cool, and then the owner is the person who says something dumb and fucks it up for you. It's just like, I guess I'm feeling really jaded about it because I've been down this road before, and I think that all these club owners need to do better, but like they're not. He's not gonna stop being racist. The guy that I had this issue with, because we call him out, but we need to call these people out because they need to know that like if they do this, they're going to lose business. And hopefully they recognize they're wrong and they grow from it, and they do what they can to right it. I think that I don't know if you can right the situation once you get caught, but I hope that they do, because Virgin's a big brand. It's I was really excited to do some really cool parties there, and I can't do them now, and I won't do them now because I think that it's just really not the right thing to do. And I hope that they come out and write the message and figure out how to handle it and do the right thing. I don't know if they can or will, but that's my hope.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, it's certainly not anything new, unfortunately. I know at Central Track we've reported on things like dress codes, which are notoriously
oh yeah,
they're certainly underlining goals and missions with those.
Right.
And so it's not just like you said, if being caught, I get they look for ways to get around that in things like dress codes. And I'm sure that they probably, if what is being said, really did happen the way everybody is saying it went down at Virgin, then it's wild that people think that they can get away with it behind the scenes too. Does
Right.
that make because it's never, wrong is wrong, and that shit hits the surface.
Right. I think that like it's always shocking to me when someone says something thinking that I'll think it's okay. Like, the closed door DJ situation where they're like, hey man, if you could just not play rap because we don't want that crowd here. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I know what you're saying. And now I can never DJ here again.
Like,
what the fuck?
It was like, what even is that crowd? Like, I like rap. You know what I mean? Like, we know what that crowd, we know what they're,
right.
It's racist for sure. But it's just the concept of that. I mean, music is for everyone. And that probably sounds all like hippy dippy and whatever, but it's just not, not good.
It's just a bad way of looking at things. And I don't think that it's the music. I think that sometimes with old people, they get accused of racism because they don't like rap. Well, if you're 70 years old, you're probably just not going to like rap. You're going to like the Rolling Stones. And I don't think that that's necessarily racist. It's like, I don't really like a lot of rap because I'm old. I'm 34 years old. So I just don't get it sometimes. But it's when they're saying we don't want them to play rap because we don't want those people here. That's when it becomes an issue. Or why do you not want a certain type of people at your club? Are you afraid they're going to drive away other people? Are those people more important to you than those people? And it's just I just don't even think that they really think these things through. It's not 1970 anymore in Dallas, and you can't act like that. And I'll tell you that the places that are the most racist, in my experience, have always been the bottle service clubs. But also at the same time, at bottle service clubs, a lot of the time the people of color are the ones buying bottles. And it's just this weird disconnect. It's how do you make that a thing when it's a rap culture? Ariana Grande and Kim Kardashian are mimicking people of color a lot of the times with the way they dress and act. And most musicians get a lot of their influences from people of color. And then you're just going to pretend they're not the most important part of what you do. And it's just weird. And Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
No, it
Takes a
doesn't.
lot of mental gymnastics that's, it's an outdated, well, it's not outdated, but it is just way past time that we should be having that conversation. I feel like, and it still keeps happening. So,
Well, good on you for taking a stand, even with things that, and being cognizant of
well,
places.
really, the
Don't
people
even,
who took a stand were JT Donaldson and Jay Clip,
yeah,
and Sober, who were directly the people affected by it, and who made the post in the first place. And I applaud them for doing that,
totally.
because I know that's not an easy thing to do. Like, I think when people called out Off the Record and IBK,
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of those people that called those places out lost a lot of bookings because of that, because other clubs were afraid they would be called racist, because they were probably a little racist, and they knew that these people were not going to put up with that. So it's sad, because I think that the vast majority of places and clubs in Dallas are at least a little bit racist, if not extremely racist. So it
No,
sucks.
yeah, it does suck, and I think you bring up a good point. It's not just certain neighborhoods where bars are. It's not, it's kind of, it's everywhere. And there's like all you can do is try and call it out, but um,
Well, and we call out places every year or so at least, I feel like, and people single that one place out and forget about all the other places that are doing just as bad or worse things that they need to, like, if you want to be part of the fight, like, let's all find clubs that don't have racist owners and support those. Like, let's make a list of clubs that aren't racist, not a list of clubs that are racist, because it's going to be a smaller list in Dallas at this point. And I think that we should really support the places that are not racist.
yeah, I'm with you on all
And
of
we
that.
should not support the places that are at all. Not saying that we should continue to support those places, but
Um,
we should show people that not being racist is more profitable, because people suck, and if people are going to be driven to doing the right thing, it's probably for their own personal gain. Like, face the facts. Like, if people feel that they can make more money not being racist, then they won't be racist. And, like, maybe then their kids won't be racist. It's like, and maybe they'll change in the process of that. Maybe they'll be exposed to a bigger circle than they've been exposed to, and they'll change internally as well. So,
no, I think that's those are all fair points too. It sucks because it's like a matter of like how does everybody attack it collectively, and it's easier said than done. I think you bring up good points about like highlighting the places that aren't racist, but it's easier said than done. It really has to be like a collective conscious decision. I guarantee you there are going to be people who still support Virgin Hotel through this, and whatever, that's their own decision. But there's like no quick and easy way to do it, which I think sucks
right.
more than.
And another thing that I have thought personally, after dealing with a lot of racist bar owners, is who I think in this case with the Virgin Hotel, I think that, like, yeah, people should back off, see how they respond. They should call them out, and then depending on how they respond, then make up your mind about if you're ever going to go there again. Or maybe it doesn't matter how they respond. Maybe you're never going there again. But a lot of clubs are more than just an owner. So there's some real weirdos out there that own bars and clubs, because you've got to be a little crazy to own a bar or a club. And a lot of the people that do it just kind of speak their mind as things come to them, and they end up saying things that they either don't really mean, or that they they should be punished for. But like let's say a bar that I was DJing at, this is hypothetical, had just like the worst owner ever, but the manager and all the other DJs that worked there were great. I might still support that bar because like I like all the people that work there, as long as the owner isn't in there like spewing hatred every day. Because it's like, where does it end? You've got the developers. Are you not going to go to a place because the place they rent from is bad? I know that that's like a long list, but like I think that you've got to take all the people that work there into account. And if it's like a systematic culture, like when the thing happened at Kung Fu Saloon, where the door guys were racist and the staff was racist and the owners were racist, like burn that motherfucker to the ground. If like one person on the staff, like if a door guy says something racist, that does not necessarily reflect everyone that works there's viewpoint, and you need to see how the bar responds. If the bar stands up and defends that guy, then burn that motherfucker to the ground too. But so I think that like right now everyone's responding how they should. They should tell these people that they don't support them anymore, and I hope that Virgin as a brand as a whole, Richard Branson and his brand will force this Dallas hotel to realign their values and goals and be a place that everyone is welcome at, even if no one wants to go there anymore. But I think that, you know, Virgin has been a brand for a long time, and they're better than that too. So,
well, time will tell, right?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how they do it.
Well, I think Instagram is going to kick me off soon. So I just wanted to change tone just a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
In this,
So I need to go get another chicken.
I'm curious to know if there have been any music releases that you're really into, that you're bummed you can't like watch people, you know, enjoy in person.
So the only record I have bought since quarantine started is I pre-ordered Joshua Ray Walker's record after seeing his performance because it was so amazing. There's like a bunch of dance music that I like playing that I'm like, oh man, if this track was like being played in clubs, it would be like the dance music track of the summer. But dance music is so ephemeral for the most part. Like most dance music is not like Daft Punk where people remember it like even like 3 months afterwards. Yeah. So I'm not really lamenting the loss of any of that kind of stuff as much as like, man, people need to go buy Joshua Ray Walker's new record from State Fair Records because it's so good. I don't care how burly and tough you are, probably going to cry. And that's fine. Accept that about yourself.
No, his new stuff is really beautiful. I put it on a couple of the playlists I've done at Central Track. I'm excited for that album too.
Awesome. Yeah, and it's always exciting to find a local artist that's good.
Yeah, you know what?
Support
is, even though, you know, it's my job and I have to, I'm not really paying attention to like bigger national artists, even in my free time now. I've found I'm still like, my eyes are still on local musicians. It's crazy because I thought when I first started, because I would be so hyper focused on that for work, I would be like, right, you know, when I clock out, I want to like hear new stuff. And with the exception of, and I think this is actually right up your alley, I think the new Dua Lipa album is very good.
The new Dua Lipa album is very good. Yeah, I love Dua Lipa. But even stuff like Dua Lipa, like, I can do without.
You think? She's kind of, I don't know. I thought of you only because
I love her music, but like,
I like it before this album.
I don't necessarily think she is reinventing the wheel.
Really?
She doesn't speak to me. Like, never cried listening to a Dua Lipa record. It's fun. It's fun. It's sort of like that Calvin Harris album that he made a couple summers ago. The was Funk Wave Bounce. Like, it's good. It's really good. I like it. But like, cool. You know, like in 10 years, I'm not going to be like, that Dua Lipa record changed my life. I really think that the Joshua Ray Walker record is going to change his life. And I think that, like, I get really excited when someone in Dallas becomes famous that still lives in Dallas. Like Neon Indian moved away. Right. Leon Bridges is like our city's ambassador now. Even though he lives in Fort Worth, he's so supportive of all the local artists, and he's brought so many people up with him. And that's what makes him such a cool local artist to have. And like when I lived in Oklahoma, we had the Flaming Lips, and they were like these like band leaders for the city. It was like people loved them there, and like really they had an entire ecosystem of artists that they supported. And I think that Dallas kind of lacks that in a lot of ways, and Leon Bridges has been like the closest person to that sort of like supportive ringleader.
Erykah Badu, I feel like, is pretty good at keeping an ear to Dallas, and she still lives here.
Yeah, I do agree with you to an extent, but like I guess the difference between Erykah and Leon is like Erykah's grown up and she's got kids. She's not like wilding out at the club.
That's true.
On the weekend.
Totally, like, just totally, there's totally a very real chance that you could pop into a club or a bar and Leon is hanging out there. That is.
And he's going to, like, if you're a DJ, put you on his Instagram. And if you're a performer, he might pop up and play a song with you. And, like, I'm sure Erykah Badu does plenty of that. And Erykah does great things for this city. But I just think because the age that Leon's at, where he wants to go out and party and like turn up all the time, it's sort of like having a professional athlete that likes to come to your club, like your nightclub. It's sort of like that same sort of support, where it's like all of a sudden, if Dak Prescott decided that Beauty Bar was his spot, then I'd be like, we'd have a line out the door every week just because he was there. And it's kind of the same thing with Leon, like just having that support is like pretty priceless, and I think that it's amazing that he does that for so many people.
I agree. My cousin is from New York. She's a musician, and she played at one year. She always comes to Dallas whenever she goes on tour. She played at Trees one year, and he came to see her. And then after my cousin had the next day off of the tour, so she wanted to check out Deep Ellum. And I don't remember where we went now that I'm telling you, but he was there. He just like left after her show and went there, and we just he was there too, just hanging out. And it wasn't even like planned. He just wanted to hang out in Deep Ellum after the show. So I remember thinking, wow, that's pretty cool just to hop over.
Right.
Anyway, it's giving me the time now. So
oh man.
Blake, one more time, where can people support all of your streams, the stuff that you're working on?
The best place to go is QuaranTVDFW.com for all the Quaran TV stuff. And then for all my personal live streams, it's twitch.tv/disco_TX. And because as I'm saying both those things, I'm realizing what a pain in the ass that is. I'll put both of the links up at discotx.com so you can find them.
Cool.
But give me till tomorrow to do that because we got other stuff to do tonight.
Buddy. Well, thank you for taking the time to talk to me on here. It's good to see your face in person.
You too. Are you in Dallas or are you still?
I'm in Kentucky.
You're in Kentucky.
Lexington, Kentucky, and I don't know when I'm going to come back to Dallas. I mean,
where are your chickens? That seems like a place where you'd have lots of chickens.
That's a very good question, and everybody assumes that, but it's not like that up here. And I still need to, as soon as I get back to Dallas, I need to get those magazines from you that we were texting.
Oh man, I have so many magazines that I'm just done with. I'm purging.
I'm gonna text you as soon as I get back in town.
Cool. It's like a time capsule from 2007. You'll love it.
That's what I want to hear. All right, buddy. Well, we'll talk soon.
All right. Good to talk to you. See you later.
Bye.